fragments of which are revered as sort of sacred items to the dwarves. And if you were found to have this with you, then in a dwarven settlement, you'd basically be in massive shit. He said that he feels like elements of guilt around owning it, but also felt kind of so sentimental towards it, they wanted to keep it.
Wait, sorry, that was the...
So you know those big glowing stones that float around in dwarven cities? So they'd sometimes use them in battles as well to like light up the sky to fight off dragons. And one of them, like a particularly like sacred one, got shattered, and he has a chunk of it, which he said, because of everything you've been through, and also sort of get rid of it, he's offered it to you guys, saying you're going to have to sneak it out of the city and sell it for. He said you shouldn't expect to get any less than 1,000 platinum, basically.
Okay.
Like, you'd have to go through the process of finding a dealer or a seller.
Super careful a few seasons with that.
Yeah, he just said he doesn't really have any. He doesn't keep coin or anything. It's not part of his religious way.
Sure.
So yeah, that's the loot you guys got. He said it's going to take him about a week to find and decipher the piece of information that you need. Something that Dorwin was very excited about helping out with the opportunity to learn a bit more about the Maldiag language, which is very, very cryptic and strange. So yeah, you guys have basically a week to kill in this settlement. You know, we've got a few bits and bobs planned, so we can roll with that. We'll start off by saying, would you guys have? Rugail offered you guys the temple to stay in if you want, but obviously it's not as comfortable as the Diamond Bat. So where have we been? Where do we stay? Are we paying up for the inn?
The Diamond Bat, it was quite expensive, wasn't it?
I think it was like 50 silver or something.
A night. And we're staying like a week while these sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I mean you can swap around a bit. I think you said to Cordus that you'd stay for a couple of days maybe, so I think that's. But that 50 silver would include meals and things too, so for this place.
Enoch's gonna stay in the Diamond Bat. He's, he lives life.
Definitely.
Yeah, he has quite lavish tastes. He's accustomed to the finer things of life.
Nice. Does someone want to chuck me a pen if there's any one handy?
He's got pens.
He's got millions.
He's got millions.
He's got one. Need a better one.
Smash my computer. No, that seems fine, but.
How long was Sebastian on the go for, you reckon?
Not that long.
So Enoch's staying in the Diamond Bat. You guys for at least a couple of nights, maybe.
I think a couple nights, but Tide's gonna settle her tab daily rather than commit to anything.
All right, nice. All right, so we wake up in the Diamond Bat. The place itself is made of, much as all the buildings are, very meticulously carved stone. So all of the walls and a lot of the furniture is all based in stone, but they will have really nice cushions that tend to have like various dwarven embroidery. Staying here, you wake up to really lavish, incredibly flavourful breakfast, and with each meal you probably get like a drink, which you probably wouldn't have to pay up for much, like a more simple ale, and then obviously if you wanted to drink more you could. Cordus, you see that Cordus seems to have been. Oh jeez.
Oh, sorry.
You can tell that Cordus is kind of pleased to have some adventurers staying at his place. It breaks the norm for him a little bit, and he seems to have been the experienced sort, so he's quite pleased to have you guys around, often striking up conversation, asking what you're going to be up to and all that sort of thing. So this one's kind of a bit more up to you guys. So shall we start with because I know you've got some plans, Enoch and Ty, so shall we start, you two can sort of discuss this over breakfast maybe, and introduce the others if you want to into your plans?
Yeah, so one day, me and Ty kind of, we've been kind of hashing this plan out through our non-verbal link that we share.
It's a psionic ability.
It's a psionic ability. I can talk to you without speaking.
And you can hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
You can't penetrate and read minds, but you can choose to converse with them.
Yeah. So we kind of sitting in a more secluded booth away from Cordus. Cordus, sorry. Cordus. Yeah, sorry, my magpie's called Cordus. And we've sort of got a kind of maybe you come down to breakfast and you see us already there, kind of engrossed in conversation, looking a bit furtive.
Unusual.
Which is unusual for Enoch because he normally drinks pretty heavily the night before and is the last one to come down in the morning. So it's something a bit sus is going on probably. Yeah. Do you wanna?
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, that's good. Huh?
I mean, look, they've been very welcoming to us here, and I don't want to burn our bridges. So we've got to be very careful.
Look, the prize I think is worth the risk.
Absolutely. Are you at our
You
table
said, are we
before?
walking in?
Yeah.
So
So we'll say that as you're saying that, maybe they like go, oh hey guys.
Yeah.
So,
Morning. How are we feeling?
All right. What are you guys so mysterious about?
I was telling Elixir that I've spent. Oh,
Telling who?
telling Enoch. I was telling Enoch that I feel like half a bard. Okay, I feel useless without a loot.
maybe you lost your loot at some point or something.
It was tragic. Yeah, it was in that
It was tragic.
stage accident. And
It wasn't just any loot, it was the finest loot west of Rochdale. That loot, it healed me. I was at death's door, and nothing brought me back to this life like the sound of Tide's loot.
Cool, just checking the sound.
It's
It's a good time. Seems fun.
Tide without the loot, it's like she's missing an arm. And I, for one, won't stand for it. I won't let it happen.
What's wrong with your pipes?
we all know what's wrong with that.
I mean, I didn't want to say.
Not one of you hasn't mentioned. So Enoch's come up with a plan. We need you guys' help if you'd be willing to maybe step a line over the law.
I have no qualms with that.
What law?
Doing, baby? You in?
Oh, my hair.
Oh, I don't know. Are you?
Yeah, I think we like came down and
Okay,
walked
fine.
in on them having that conversation.
Oh, sure. How much over the line?
No, we're not going to harm anyone. We
Oh.
only monetarily.
Victimless crimes, Dorwin. Victimless crimes. That's all we're proposing.
Well, you guys have always stuck up for me.
Right you are, Dorwin. That's the attitude to have. Glad to see that you're in.
Enoch has no idea what we're talking about, but yeah.
I'm like, okay.
There's a contact that I might be able to get involved with. It's from a past life. I'm not that kind of man anymore. And as you see that, I smirk to myself, and you see my teeth in my mouth.
Thank God.
Huh?
So thank God.
No, but it's
But
like, I've got a big teeth.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a really big Cheshire cat kind of grin. And I say, there's as with any big city, there are the rich and there are the poor. There are the deserving and there are the deserted. I propose a little transfer of the good, of the fine, from one person to another, more deserving, that would put better use.
This guy.
Would put better use to such a fine instrument.
Alright.
Whose loot are we stealing?
There's rumour of a collector hidden in the bowels of Jor Kim.
I've got some stuff that's say, because you've been seeing the thieves.
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
that's what I was
so
trying to
go
get
down to, just go down to the thieves council.
Sure. I've seen traces, whispers, scribbles, scrawlings of a potential job. The bounty is unmistakable, and we would be thoroughly rewarded for just a small bit of effort on our part.
Are we getting anything out of this other than a loot?
Do you need anything?
So you say you need to find out more about the job or something.
Listen. Nothing's set in stone. Of course we wouldn't like to proceed without full agreement from the party. As the newcomer, I feel it's right that I start to prove my worth to the group and bring in bounties to pay you back for looking out for me. Tide. I tip my hat at you. But you know, fella falling on that. I'm talking about adventure. I'm talking about the Jor Kim Symphony. And I spread my arms as I say that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
What do you guys say? We're all in, and none of this leaves this table.
Well, I've never been one for music, but maybe we can change that.
Yeah,
So you've been listening to her play music for like months. You're like, I've never been one with music.
Oh right. I didn't.
No, it's not you. It's just, you know,
It's
just your
fucking
music.
pipes.
Fucking nice.
Exactly. We're trying to fix this for everywhere.
And I'm in.
If I never did this, some pipes again.
And maybe we could steal a couple new songs.
So, Enoch,
Really woken up this morning.
So,
you'd know that from spending some time and, you know, exploring around Jor Kim and things and travelling through, you have seen various symbols of thieves' cant dotted around, and you're fairly certain that through the correct use of inscribing where you need to, you'd be able to establish a contact to pursue what you want, basically.
yeah. So, I say, there are certain more nefarious types than I that might be able to guide us in our search for a person that would not miss such an item.
Shall we say that do you want to go out and
Well, I want to hear what the
sure.
group's in. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna play my show all my deck.
If the rumours that we've heard are true, think about what this collector could have for all of us. Think of the wisdoms his library might hold. Their library might hold. The weapons, the dragon memorabilia. I guess it's it.
I do like wisdom. Where does this? Who's this guy again? Sorry, I missed it.
Well, we don't know yet.
We don't know.
It's just like a...
Do we
There's
know
a job-
where
there's
the
a job
collector
in-
resides?
Not yet. I've heard a lot of offers and promising much reward, but you can't just go out giving priceless information like that scrawled on the side of a building now, can you, Dorwin?
Not usually.
I'm sure you're a man that understands the value of keeping knowledge to the deserving.
Yes, knowledge in the wrong hands can be quite dangerous.
Exactly.
Sounds
So
like-
let us put it in the right hands. Our hands.
Alright, enough moralizing, Enoch. They're on board. What are we doing? What's the plan?
I'm going to take a stroll to the market. I'm going to get in contact with one of my associates. Tide, if you want to accompany me, I would be honoured. I might also be able to set in place events that might see us be rid of this incredibly valuable yet utterly useless and dangerous piece of rock that we've somehow stumbled upon.
So it literally doesn't have any use.
We can't use it.
No. So what Rugael said is that you what he would have done if he was more moral is he would have taken it to not Balkim, Balhook. He said he would have taken it back to Balhook and handed it over, but he just like the Harping Stone, he just wanted it.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, you could just give it away if you wanted.
Roughly how big is it?
It's large.
Okay.
I just see in the game log comes up. Enoch rolls sleight of hand check. Cover my pockets real quick.
Dawn, have you got the rock?
No, you left it with
Left it
Rugael.
with the- okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
Because he was like, don't fuck around with it in the
back.
city, basically.
That's
Take
fine.
it elsewhere.
But you've got the inanimate rock.
Yes, I have this. I have this rod.
Excellent.
Okay, so yeah, we head over to the market.
Yeah, sure. What kind of stalls are there available in the market?
Yeah, so basically the way the market's structured is that they have like these, much like all the buildings are like carved out of the earth itself, there's kind of these like waist-high stalls that are carved out, and then different market sellers will come to these spots and then erect their tarps and cloths and everything to kind of indicate what kind of seller they are. So will have like different coloured like cloth tarps basically. In the market itself, it's not hugely busy, to be honest, but there's people still around buying goods. There's a lot of people buying like produce from farmers that have sent their goods into the town. There's quite a few like people selling the wares that have been smithed. So there's lots of like nails and horseshoes and like little rings and screws and all these different things that are useful. There's a couple of like weapon and armor sellers as well.
Any like jewelers or anything like that?
There's a couple of jewelers around.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But it looks very much like quite a normal market, like circular market, centre. But the goods that they're selling, compared to what you'd get in like human towns and stuff, are generally more valuable, just because dwarven levels of craftsmanship are pretty good.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So we enter the market. Korvax is on my shoulder and is sort of flitting around the market. Flitting around the market. Maybe sort of going to a food stall, trying to steal. Not steal, but he's a bird. He has no concept of stealing. But
yeah, he likes little shiny.
yeah, he likes little shiny things. Okay, I'm going to go to sort of a darkish corner of the market, maybe a slightly more out of the way corner, maybe slightly more run down shop selling less nice produce maybe, and I'm going to get out my dagger. And I'm going to carve a little rune into one of the sides of the wooden stall, and I sort of say to myself, yep, that should do the trick. And I say, well, and I say, I'll come back here around about dawn and see if we can make contact with someone. As I sort of go over there, Korvax's eye has caught a jeweler's shop, and he's drawn to the shiny stuff, and he's going to attempt to pick up a ring and fly off with it.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
The reason I laughed then was since when we spoke about having Sven as Korvax, I'm now just picturing Sven flapping around, picking people's food and stuff.
Fucking 6'4" dude.
Running around pecking your shit.
Sure. So Korvax goes flittering over. Why don't you have him make a sleight of hand and see if he can pinch a ring without getting spotted?
Who was Korvax again?
It says magpie.
Magpie. 15.
15. Okay. I'll do it with I'll do a contested roll just because it's more fun than passive every time.
So I have proficiency in this. Does that mean I can add my psionic power to it if it's Corvax?
Well, it is familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably say so.
Okay, cool. 15.
Obviously, if you use one of the resources.
Yeah. 19.
Nice. Okay. Okay, yeah, they roll pretty poor. So combat screams like flitting over. You see like people don't seem to pay him a huge amount of mind because they're like birds and things will come and fly around the inside of the mountain, making little nests up in the ceiling and on the walls and that sort of thing. And he kind of like, hops over, kind of like glancing up at the seller who seems to be just kind of like fiddling around, like counting her coins and that sort of thing. And he kind of like skulks forward and just like makes like an inadvertent little, just like grabs a ring, just flies off with it, and you see that as he makes this noise, the jeweler looks up and just sees this bird like flitting off. It's like, but doesn't pay it much mind. And it flies over to you, and you get this this incredibly. It probably isn't the most. It's definitely not the most valuable thing that they had, but it's incredibly shiny, well polished. It looks like this sort of little silver ring with this with a green gem in it, which you can't identify. Quite a small gem.
Okay.
And you probably reckon it's worth maybe like 35, 40 gold or something like that.
Sure.
So he kind of like flies around a bit as you would want him to do, not coming straight to you. And after a moment or two, he comes down and you put it in a little shiny pocket of yours, of Corvax's loot.
Excellent.
You carve this rune in, and you and Ty spend a bit of time just kind of like looking around the market, trying not to like be overly suspicious or anything. Exploring, like chatting to some of the sellers and that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
You head back. Is there anything that I imagine Dorwin's probably off scrawling over this book?
I actually have a specific thing I want to do. I want to transcribe this spider climb spell.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
While I'm in the market, do flares exist in D&D?
Probably not like super commonplace. You'd have to go to like an alchemist or something.
Sure. Okay. Fine. Flares.
You're not talking about the clothing, are you?
Jeans.
Flare jeans, yeah. It's a look.
Big lights, Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right. So no.
Okay. So we'll.
And can I just get a ballpark of how much that would cost?
A flare.
Yeah.
From an alchemist, probably like 10, 15 gold.
Okay. Is there an alchemist in
Yeah, you could probably find one around in Joachim somewhere. We can just sort of.
Why don't we do third stuff and then I might buy some flares.
Sure. So you need to buy. Do you have some materials already, or do you need to buy some?
I don't have any extra from before now. I don't think.
Okay.
My the Cloud Daggers was second level spell, wasn't it? Yeah, so I just brought it up.
So basically, here it says for each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold pieces in supplies.
So it takes 4 hours, 100 gold to transcribe this one.
Okay, nice.
So, yeah. I didn't really know. I guess I'm just buying like the.
It's like it's like
materials
fine
and
inks and like some nice parchment for like notes and that sort of thing.
Sure.
Maybe if there's like components it needs, you might want to buy some of them and like get them involved. So
Sure.
it's kind of like.
Where do you go for these kind of things?
Well, you'd probably have to go to like a couple of different shops, probably. Like go to a library or a scribe and collect some inks from there, and then you can go to a herbalist or something to collect the potential components, or maybe a jeweler if it's like a gem or something. But so you'd be able to acquire those ingredients you need.
Sure. I'll spend a day doing that then.
Is it? Do you just want to sort of like do it, or do you want to like describe anything about it? Really?
I guess I'd just be like sort of chilling. I guess so. Roleplay wise, I have this like sick book that I found, and we were going to roleplay that instead of me writing down new spells, I sort of like am understanding more of the spells that are in the book.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm sort of like.
Okay, well maybe we'll say it's gear around that, like sort of activating a dead spell.
But I need to like
go
watch it
over
down to
it,
translate
read
it, and do all this shit. And I'd be like in the library, sort of like, where's my spider climb? So you'd see me like every now and then like trying to touch the wall and like lift myself up and shit.
Like the montage in Spider-Man where he's like.
Yeah. Very much so. But like just way cooler.
Yeah, 'cause you're a little nerd. Yeah, okay, nice. So yeah, you spend some time, you know, going between places that you find relaxing and testing out the spell and all that sort of thing. And after a while, you feel like you think you've pretty much got it down, especially after having had this scroll for a while. You've probably been, or you know, having the stuff while you've been examining it and comparing it to the book you've got and everything. And
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Nice, cool. Alex, are you just sort of waiting around for stuff to
Yeah,
start?
I mean, I don't really have a huge amount I want to do.
Yeah.
You
here.
still training Thrasher, right?
Well,
It's pretty much trained.
Oh, is it done?
Yeah, it's pretty much. I'm just riding him around in the
Yeah.
background.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Is he is he shod now?
Is he shot?
Yeah.
was that in a saddle?
Yeah, with pig shoes, not horseshoes.
I mean, you wouldn't need it on a pig, would you?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Trotters.
Yeah, I didn't think you could put a horseshoe on a pig.
No, but you
because they've got two toes.
Yeah, but you could make, you know, you could definitely.
Boots.
Little booties.
But no, you know, I'd say you could probably, you know, find like a child's saddle or something that would probably fit a pig somewhere, like 30 gold or something.
Oh, okay.
as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like- should we-
I assume. Yeah,
I mean, you can ride it without it. So it's more like.
Yeah, yeah. We've got thingy making us on right in the background, or was she like? She was just drafting it up, right?
I know you made a bit of progress. I mean, I'd say that like you can either go back and do more yourself and spend less gold, or you can have said, oh yeah, no, I'm going to spend gold for you to
Yeah,
do more of it.
Yeah.
But we can play that by when we if you go back to that part of the world at some point.
Okay. How much would a little saddle cost?
We'll call it probably 25, 30 gold or something. Yeah. Okay. And all right, sure. So we'll kind of like move forward a bit. I'd say that you guys have spent some time in the day, like going around the markets and doing all these different various things. Before you head back to the Diamond Bat, Enoch, you've gone back to just like glance at the rune on your way back, and you've noticed that it's received a response, basically confirming your desired meeting time.
Okay, sure.
And yeah, we'll move forward to dawn. You guys get back, maybe have a few drinks, or maybe not to keep your heads clear.
Should we be knocking off 100 silver as well?
Well, yeah, if for 2 nights, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, so dawn comes around. Enoch kind of blearily, slightly reluctantly wakes up, but also some kind of excited about revisiting his old lifestyle somewhat.
Giving nothing away.
Sure, yeah. You head over to this area before anyone's really awoke, and you head down this alleyway, and you see kind of at the far end of this alley in the dark, there's a hooded figure. He's standing at about 6'3" or so,
Okay.
kind of clad in black leathers. And as you approach, they say,
I've got a hood up, by the way.
okay, yeah.
You know, for sure.
He, as you approach, he just kind of like mutters this discreet kind of indecipherable greeting in like a thieves' canty linguistics, anticipating a response or otherwise passing it off as like a cough or something.
And I sort of greet him in that sort of same code,
Yeah.
just being like saying like hello, friend, let's
Do business or something,
yeah, let's do business.
As you well, he says what brings a person like you to this town? And as you look up, you see that he's kind of got the slightly hidden features of a dragonborn, and he's kind of like sat fairly relaxed against the wall, but you see he's got his arms crossed in a slightly standoffish, but just watching your own back basically.
What colour is he?
It's hard to make out in this light and everything. He's kind of like hooded, but,
Even with my dark vision.
well, dark vision only see grey.
Fine, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. And I say, many things bring me to this part of the world. I am a travelling man, making his way through the world as best I can, and sometimes, in order to make ends meet, we must relieve the undeserving of items that they do not require, but yet possess.
I couldn't agree more, my friend. He says, I see from the camp that you left, you were looking for a specific item. What is it exactly?
There are rumours of an instrument of great renown that is played by the musicians that play at the Diamond Bat.
He says, how do you know of this? It is no coincidence that you could have learned of such a thing.
Let's just say, needs must, and I am a very perceptive individual.
Well, you're in luck, my friend. He said, we have one of my boys is working on a job at the moment. Have you heard of the bard, Wheaton Soft Tongue?
I care not for the trivial aspects of this meagre town. I only care about the coin that has potential to be made in profit.
He says, well, this man himself is no meager person. He says, the details of the job I would rather leave to my associate, but I can put you in contact for this evening if you would like. I'm sure he would appreciate any help he can get.
Well, in that case, it looks like we have an accord, and I spit in my hand and hold it out to him.
He says, before you do this, we must agree on some certain terms. If I'm to put you in contact with this person, I expect no less than 60% of the takings.
60%? You drive a hard bargain. I'll put it to you like this. We are interested in a specific item. The item is ours. And 60% of the remainder will be divided between ourselves.
You so basically say we get the item, but you get the rest of the loot sort of thing.
No. You get the item, but you get 60% of the rest of the loot.
He says, I would have to speak to my associate as it is not some. I do not know if the item itself is more valuable than anything else you could collect. Perhaps when you return, we could discuss further once whatever this item is has been appraised.
If that is what must be, then so be it.
He says, very well. And he holds out his hand to shake yours.
Okay. Sure.
Nice.
Cool. So we could have started to go our separate ways, but I'm gonna try and follow him,
Okay.
just to see, if he's going anywhere, any specific place.
Okay. Yeah. Make a stealth check.
Sure. Ooh. Hold on. Oof. 19.
19. Okay. Nice. So yeah, you find that initially once you first start, you think that the way that he's moving and everything, it does look like he's definitely cautious around being followed. And initially you think that he might be onto you, but after a few more minutes of walking, you're fairly confident that you've managed to evade him watching you. You see he kind of continues he starts heading basically west through the town.
Sure.
And you follow him for maybe maybe like half a mile or so.
Yeah.
And then you find that the area of town that you're getting to begins to look. You've not been to this area before. It looks quite a lot more run down. You notice there's a few people who are just kind of like lying on the street, and as you're going past them, and as the stones are starting to light up certain areas of the city, dim light cast on some of these people. They look like they've kind of got this kind of like thick, kind of black, oily skin. These people that are kind of lying on the ground, and some of them are kind of coughing their lungs up, and sort of like blackish material comes out when they cough. And you find that as he starts to go through this area, you're slightly like interested in these other things. You notice that he kind of manages to like slip away into this area, where you're not quite able to follow.
Sure.
Just because he's kind of like start to meander off quite quickly through this more slummy area.
Sure.
As you slightly distracted by these intriguing people.
Sure.
I assume that Dorwin, you're probably up fairly early, going over to Regael to help with the transcription and everything.
Yeah.
Nice. You find that while you're with him, he kind of starts to point out some of the fundamentals of the Maldiog language and stuff that you are able to absorb pretty quickly. As you are, he's, you kind of, as he's describing stuff, you begin to sort of understand the depth of the written language of the Maldiog itself, and you begin to realise how it is quite such a mammoth task to actually be able to comprehend a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But you're trying and you're engaged, and it's very interesting. Shall we like move forward to evening times? Maybe Enoch's kind of assembled you guys and said, we've got this contact, or maybe you haven't. Or maybe
Before we go back, sort of kind of like we're having like just a regroup at the Diamond Bat, and I've explained sort of who I've met, the fact that it's a Dragonborn, Arthur, Gesh, and maybe getting a little bit of sort of any insight that Gesh might have about a Dragonborn as a thief living in Julkim. Not sure if he would know anything. And I've sort of said that there's a bard. He's of great renown. He's got a lute of extraordinary quality that would make a fine addition to our party. And finally, Tide, you would have an instrument worthy of your renown.
What's who is this bard?
Something sweet tongue. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
If you can't remember, you can't remember.
It's a Mr. Sweet Tongue.
Mr. Sweet
Soft
Tongue.
tongue. Wheaten soft.
Wheaten soft
It's
tongue.
Whedon Soft Tongue.
I think I would have heard of this guy.
You've probably heard some of his ballads and stuff.
Yes, yeah. So Tide sort of reacts and gasps a little and goes, "Wheaton soft tongue. He's famous for writing the tale of the siege of Vestris." Okay. His.
I'm writing it down.
Great canon. He's known amongst my industry as being one of the sweetest tongues around.
Sweetest and softest.
Softest tongue around. No doubt, to own his lute, the instrument that he constructed all these immortal songs on would be a huge honour.
So
sort of having said
two-faced.
that.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm
such
kind
an
of
honour
thinking about
to
the,
steal
like-
these.
For the sake.
You're like in denial, like, oh, it'd be such an honour to have such a
It's
thing.
such an honour.
you're
But also, I've heard he's a
nice.
dick, so
Yeah.
we're absolutely
Fact,
fine.
definitely so.
He's grown fat and lazy with his success.
Yeah.
He hasn't written a song worth listening to in nigh on 5 years. He has no more use of it. I say it's time for the new generation to rise up.
Didn't know his name 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, shit.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
I know. That's why I hadn't heard him.
Bards are actually incredibly competitive people, so anything that takes him down, I'm in. I'd do anything to take his place as the greatest bard of our generation. There we go. That's a motive. Great.
We got there.
Yeah.
Don't want to relate to you. Anything to add?
Not really. We're just kind of along for the ride.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Have you guys ever heisted before?
Can't say that.
I say no.
Insight checks.
Yeah. He. No. Enoch does not realise.
Okay, so
Right, 15. What the fuck's that?
what did you notice with the 15 bag?
Okay, fine. From an insight check, you'd see I say no and try and play it off, but you see me glance down at my dagger.
Ooh. This is getting very interesting.
So yes, we move forward to the evening meeting with the with this person's associate. I'll do the slightly more like atmospheric. Yes, we go to the meeting and you find that the meeting place we agreed, perhaps the same alley. Instead of being met by this dragonborn fellow, there's now a person who's very clearly a dwarf who's just kind of waiting fairly nonchalantly in this alley. He's kind of stood with his hands on his hips. He doesn't look that conspicuous as sneaky or inconspicuous as sneaky.
Inconspicuous is sneaky.
So it's conspicuous though, weirdly.
Oh, is it?
He doesn't look conspicuous because he doesn't look inconspicuous. Inconspicuous would be a double negative from your point of view.
Conspicuous means like bait.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he's looking a bit conspicuous then.
He's
Like,
looking a bit conspicuous.
Yeah, he's just kind of stood like. He doesn't look like a. He
He's not trying to like hide.
Yeah,
No, he's
he's
not
not
hiding,
like the
just
lifestyle was
Not
like
taking any
Yeah, yeah,
attention
yeah.
away, just like blending in.
Yeah, he's just kind of
being
stood
normal,
there, like sat in this alleyway. He doesn't have a cowl up or anything. He's wearing fairly normal clothes, but anyone with a keen eye can see that he's clearly got some leather armor underneath his clothes.
Okay.
Any weapons that he has on him appear to be hidden, but he's got a almost completely bald head, and he's got quite a nice thick black beard. And as he sees you lot approaching, you see he kind of looks and kind of stares for a moment, looking between a few of you, and then glances at you. You see he just gets this bit of a grin on his face, and he goes, "Ah, you must be my new business partner." And he holds out his hand.
I say, charmed, I'm sure.
He says, "And these are friends of yours. Will they be joining us in our business?"
Absolutely. They are as much a part of me as my right hand.
He says, "Well, that's good to know. Let us head down a little bit more and we can talk a bit more in depth, eh? Go back to my office."
And where are we heading? Where is your office?
He says, no mind, just come with me. And begins like sort of strolling off further down the alley.
Okay, sure.
I'd just like to point out I'm pretty cloaked at this
Yeah,
point.
we're all
a bit. Yeah.
Fine, yeah.
Sure. I'm going to be sort of kind of actively looking around as we follow him, just seeing if there's anyone.
Make a perception check if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to make a perception check. 23.
Okay, nice. So looking around, the way that he's like walking around, he doesn't really seem to be going to any one place. He just seems to be taking you somewhere a bit more discreet, basically. Doesn't
Sure.
have-
Anyone kind of following us or? Oh,
Doesn't look
no,
like it,
Fine.
no.
Okay. Cool.
When you with that high perception check as well, you notice that just because it's a really high check, you notice that the way that he kind of carries himself, and he's very like active, where he'll like be often like twiddling his thumbs or like doing little like hand movements and things, whether it's nervousness or just his nature. I'm not too sure, but you can tell that the way the dexterity in his fingers, he clearly has a lot of experience like picking locks and
Sure.
doing fine movements and things, very fine motor control in his hands. He leads you along to a bit where he just takes you to this area down a couple of these like off roads where there's just it's very quiet. There's just a couple of stone buildings around that look like they might just be houses, and you can't really hear much activity around. And he says, "I thought it would be a bit better to talk away from the market itself." He says, "Look, the job we've got planned, I don't think it should be particularly hard, but help is always good. Someone to keep lookouts. The guards in the city, they can be quite aggressive, so we'll have to watch our backs. He says, I've not had a lot of opportunity to scope out this place, but I hear that you're after a fine musical instrument. At least that's what my associate has told me.
You would be correct.
He says, well, that's sort of what I'm after too, but we could come to some arrangement perhaps, because the loot itself is worth quite a lot, but perhaps as payment for your help, you could take the loot, but I would want a hefty share of anything else we can find.
That would be acceptable to us. I've talked it through with my other business associates, and I gesture towards the group, and it is the loot that we have primarily come here for.
He says, good. Well, in that case, I'll tell you a bit more about the job. So this fellow, Wheaton Softtongue, his manor is not far from here, and well, he's gone travelling on a wee trip, and I know that he would have left his loot behind, as he was not going to travel to perform or anything like that, and he keeps it in a well-locked box, the location of which I'm not quite sure, so we'll have to do a little searching once we're in. Otherwise, I've heard rumours that he has someone who works for him in the house, but I've never seen during my whole time scoping out the place, I've never seen such a person. But nonetheless, rumours exist for a reason, so that's something we best look out for. He could be a sly bastard for all I know.
Any deliveries being made while Wheaton was gone? Any food coming in? Packages going out?
He says, no, that's another thing that's been rather curious, is the fact that whoever this person is living here seems to be able to look after himself quite well. Perhaps he already just had a fine store of food themselves. Wheaton's a wealthy fellow.
So I've heard. I'm sure he won't miss whatever we'll take.
Very well. He says, now, I know you chaps aren't, you sort of chaps aren't normally one for names, but I quite liked you myself. You can call me Heinrich. If you'd like to share your names, it would be appreciated, but I understand if not.
Caiaphas, I say, and just without breaking a stride.
Well, nice to meet you, Caiaphas. And the rest of you are a little more discreet.
Yes, you can call me Dimble.
Very well. What brings two deep gnomes up onto the surface?
Our story is our own.
He says, yes, I've met a lot I've heard a lot of those stories before. And you fine young lady, what brings you to Jerk him?
They call me Arabella. I've run away from home and I'm looking for some adventure in the Dwarven city.
He says, wow, well, it sounds like you've found your lot then. Welcome to the life.
Thank you.
And with that, he says, I understand if you need a little more time to think about the job, but I think there's no time like the present. What do you say we go over there and scope out the place for a few hours and see what we can do?
Sounds good to me.
Did we land on a specific number for your share of the take?
He says, well, I'm afraid I don't have a lot of information about about the full level of wealth or what we could acquire from this place, especially if this person's around. I'm not sure if we'd be able to get everything we want anyway. So it will depend on our takings, but for the time being, if I'm satisfied with the amount, I'd be happy for you to take the loot. It saves me having to flog it on the market.
So we get the loot and you get everything else.
Well, we'll wait and see what we've got. You see, with these kind of jobs and working with the sort of people I work with, payments need to be made.
Alright.
He says, well, let's head off. And as you begin walking down the street, he kind of points to you, and he says, I've noticed a little friend flying around. He is an associate of yours, is he?
And I say, I don't know what you mean.
He says, oh, yes you do. I'm just thinking about, would he help us out with the job?
You're a very perceptive fellow. Yes. Corvax might aid us. Might, if he feels like it.
He says, yes, I've come across a few tricksters who are experienced in the arcane arts before. And, there's not much that can watch a thief's back better than an inconspicuous creature.
Hold up. Wait. Sorry, I forgot what my answer was. I don't like this one bit. Okay? If we're going to come out of this, we want a deal. Okay?
He says,
You and me. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We share the rest of the loot 50-50.
he says, well, I can't exactly do 50-50 if it doesn't even cover my payments to the guild.
That's the risk you're going to have to take.
And I message Tide. How long does this last for actually?
I think it's 8 hours.
Yeah, I think it is 8 hours. Or do I have to roll to see how many hours it lasts actually?
No,
I think I
maybe.
do.
Maybe it's a kick to the last one.
So I was with where is it?
They could give it a little search function. Do they have a search function in the feeds?
You can just do Control F.
Or will it?
might
It's
be
not on the same.
It's not on the same
Like under-
thing.
But under all.
So it was
Are you looking for
roll a
feats that you
d8 the
don't
number
have?
of hours.
Okay, so the number of
When you do it, do you have to use up a psionic thing or
the
not?
first time I do it, I don't, but then the next time I do.
Okay, fine.
So this will be my time. So I can communicate with 3 other people.
Okay.
So I guess you 3.
Yeah.
And I can do it for 7 hours.
Nice. Cool.
So I message.
Can they talk to each other?
No, they can only talk to me.
Okay, fine.
I can talk to anyone.
Oh, you've got a
Yeah.
message.
Oh yeah.
At
we
will.
can't, we can reply.
Oh well, I think so. With
You
you
can
folks,
do
you have to like. Isn't it like there's some restrictions in terms of like thickness of walls and stuff with
We have to
message?
be within 120 feet. Yeah, if I know the target, it's like 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of metal, 3 feet of wood. So yeah, it's a bit of blockage. Is yours just permanent until?
It's up to a mile, no blocks.
Okay, nice.
Okay, so he takes you over to this. He starts heading like kind of like in a northeasterly direction through the town, and you find that the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Wait,
So
what do we do?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
Oh, yes, yes, yeah.
So
do the message, sorry.
so I'm going to message Tide and say like, Tide, I don't like this guy, but he has information that we need. I'm sure there might be a way of making things a bit more fair, or even beneficial to us as the heist unfolds.
Okay, heeding that, I sort of change my demeanour slightly. Sort of go up to this guy. Look, I like you. You seem like a very charming man, and gosh,
Why, thank you.
that accent, lovely.
So
But we need to know we're walking away from this for something that's worth it for us. What you get with us are the 4 best thieves this side of the scales. That surely must be worth a guaranteed proportion of the goods, aside from the loot, which is unnegotiable.
He says, make a persuasion check. Can only be 19.
That's 10 is 19.
He says, look, he says, I appreciate your kindness, and believe me, it holds you in good stead. But it sounds like you are a little new to this, and as much as I like the self-confidence, we will have to wait to see what we can get. But I promise you'll get at least your fair share.
Fair enough.
And with that, you continue along. You see that as you go, he seems to be like it seems like his disguise is like being a bit of a guy, you know, like he's to make himself not seem like a sneak thief.
Being a bit of a guy.
So he's like chatting away, asking you questions. You're giving him fake answers, and he's giving you fake answers to your fake questions, and so on and so forth. And
I didn't want to know that. Busted.
and now I don't.
Cheers.
Yeah, so he's like, you know, trying to make conversation that seems makes you blend in. And he heads around to the houses begin to get slightly more sparse. A few of them seem to have little like garden areas and things where there'll be like sculptures and that sort of thing. And then you head to this area where it's kind of like a circular cul-de-sac of houses, and in the middle there's quite a nice water feature. It's fountain, which is just spraying water away. And there's like maybe 5 houses that are all like fairly large. Each of them are kind of 3 stories.
Are they detached?
Yeah, they're detached. Yeah.
How far between them?
A good few meters.
A few meters.
Yeah.
How many?
Oh, like 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah. So what's that like? 15
foot.
feet. Yeah. And as you get there, you see he's just kind of like chatting away, and you see that the whole time he's kind of like subtly gesturing towards the target house. And after a moment of chatting, he just kind of like quickly says in a whisper, he says, "Let's all find some good positions, and why didn't you send your little friend to have a look around? And we'll reconvene just down the road in say 2 hours."
Aye. It's agreed.
And with that, you will kind of go off. So if each of you make stealth checks, we say it's quite an easy thing to do. So just do them with advantage, because it's like you've got lots of time to like establish yourself somewhere good.
Ooh.
16.
Nat 20. 23.
Oh, hell yeah!
14.
14.
29.
Nice. Very good. Was that a far off a crit?
I got a plus 11 to my stealth. So,
So yeah, you're all able to get in pretty good positions. Enoch, you're able to kind of climb up on top of one of the houses where you're just completely out of view. Tide, you're able to really like kind of blend into a background, and you've got a pretty good view in through like one of the windows.
Sorry, what are we like looking at?
The house, you're like scoping it out.
Yeah, like where is this house?
So you've got this ring of, so say there's like 5 houses, it would be like the second one along in this like cul-de-sac basically.
so I'm gonna climb up the next door house using my boots of spider climb, and perch on the rafters of the next door house to see kind of like try and look in down through the windows and stuff to see if there's any movement in.
So say that you've all managed to establish like pretty decent positions really. Maybe you're just kind of like in like the opposing alley between 2 houses where there's not much activity, and if you hear noise, you'd like kind of go off to another area and get a different vantage point. Why don't we have like the 2 with best perception, just each give us a perception, and do you want to have what's Corvax up to?
So Corvax, are there any open windows in the house?
So none of them are open, but they each window does have like quite a gentle, quite a short sill.
A short sill, okay. Are the curtains pulled?
No, there's all the curtains are open.
All the curtains are open, okay. Any lights on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely someone in the house.
He's got a rumbly tummy. He's hungry. Yeah. Yeah. So looking in, it looks like in some rooms, it looks like he has these kind of like blue stones which are like moving around.
Sure.
So you kind of get this like slightly shifting blue, which is fairly consistent with slight variations. And then
But
in
no
other
like
rooms,
hearth or anything like that.
well, so a couple of other windows would have like a more golden light made by candles and lanterns and things that are hung up and chandeliers and that sort of thing.
It looks like someone's in the house.
Probably.
Oh yeah, like it looks like there's somebody in there.
Okay, sure. Any smoke rising from any of the chimneys?
No smoke.
No smoke, okay. So if there's no smoke, Corvax is going to try and, peck around the chimney, see if there's a way down into the house.
Yeah, sure.
Down through the chimney.
Okay, yeah. So there's these stone. So you can do that thing where you can go into his vision,
Yeah.
right? So do you want to do that? So,
Yeah.
all right.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah. So you kind of go into this
So I'm
trance.
sitting on the top of my, on like the kind of Assassin's Creed gable type thing.
Remember, it's all like solid stone and everything.
Oh yeah, fine. So I'm like kind of perched on the roof. Of
Yeah, just out of sight.
Yeah, just out of sight.
Maybe with your back against their chimney.
Yeah.
House or something,
smoking a low stick, and you see there's a thin tendril of smoke as my eyes sort of glaze over and blink open, and they're just pitch black like a magpie's.
You go into his view, and you sort of take control of him, and you kind of go into this. You kind of peer down the chimney itself. It's quite narrow. Probably like you could maybe squeeze down it, but it would be hard.
Okay.
Like an Enoch sized person.
Enoch person, okay.
Corvax can kind of like drop down, and you see that he's able to kind of like roughly flutter down through the chimney. Why don't we have him make a stealth check just to see if he's like making much noise?
21.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so he's able to kind of like quite stealthily, like kind of slip down the chimney, goes into this fireplace, which is like still, it's like slightly warm, like where the embers have kind of died into ash. So he has little warm bird feet.
Okay.
And you see that as he like kind of flaps up, he kind of like tries to not disturb the ash too much, and he just kind of like flies up around the room so that wherever he lands, the ash isn't like, you know, coming off his feet onto somewhere obvious. And this main room, it's quite a nice lounge with this big red sofa, like velvet sofa, and a couple of other chairs around, which kind of like look into the fireplace.
Yeah.
Dotted around the exterior of the lounge, there's these bookshelves which are, you know, just have lots of different tomes and things. And he kind of like flitters down through this doorway and like looking around, not seeing anyone at the moment. He kind of goes round into this other room. So you come into the lounge, you've gone through a door, and then there's now this big open kind of like foyer.
Hallway,
Yeah. And there's a couple of other doors around, and there's like this stone staircase in the far right of the room, which is going up like this.
Sure.
And then up there's like a balcony with a few more doors.
Sure.
He goes through into the room opposite this room.
Yeah.
And looking around in there, this appears to be a place where there's like various instruments. So there's like big harps. There's all these kind of like not very impressive looking lutes like dotted around on the walls. And
So is this going to be an Indiana Jones situation?
oh well. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what
No.
I mean the
The
goblet.
Grail, like the
Grail.
one that we want is the one that looks really shitty.
Oh right. I don't remember any Indiana Jones. I should give it a watch. But yeah, so this seems to be like a bit of a music room. There's like some stools around, and there's like some areas for people to sit. You imagine that you probably like will like host little jam sessions and like have guests over to like play to.
Yeah, sure. So, okay. Any other rooms on the ground floor? Like,
Yeah, there's 2 more rooms.
are the doors shut?
So this place doesn't like
It doesn't have doors.
No, they just kind of got these archways, and it looks like there are like these like heavy sort of curtains that you can pull across the door.
Sure.
But they're all just open.
They're all open. Okay.
Or at least it seems like it anyway. Upstairs, maybe some of the rooms would have the curtains drawn.
Sure.
Say you go round into the diagonal room from this one.
Yeah.
So over there, we'll say there's four doors downstairs. You go into this one, and it's quite like a large open kitchen with like a stone like island in the middle. There's like heaps and heaps of like fresh produce and like casks of salt pork and dried goods and jerky and that sort of thing.
Any evidence that there's someone that's got any like, you know, dirty plates? Any,
Yeah,
like,
so looking around in this room, there's like the only thing that kind of gives anything away is there's a pot next to like this large like sort of sink, like basin sort of
Yeah.
thing. And there's a pot which looks like it's drying off basically.
Drying off. Okay. Okay.
And Corvax which kind of smell this quite like a spicy, mushroomy
Okay.
scent.
Sure. Okay. So I think Corvax might make his way upstairs and just have a scout out upstairs.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like 2 of the rooms that you go into look like just like dedicated bedrooms for like multiple people.
Sure.
Where there's like lots of very nice beds around.
Yeah.
They're all like very well maintained, very
Sure.
fine. They've even got like these kind of erected like wooden so not, you know, like what you get dressed behind.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, a bit like
Like a
that,
screen,
but
yeah.
kind of like between the beds.
Yeah.
So it looks like you know, using your intuition, you think this is probably like almost like where people crash after parties and things, rather than a place where the lodgers are staying. You go round into this other room, which looks like a sort of like master bedroom, and in here there's lots of like there's a really nice 4-poster bed, and at the foot of the bed there's quite a fine chest on the ground, which is like moderately large. There's a couple of wardrobes, and one of them might be if one was cocked slightly open, maybe Corvax would peer in and see lots of very fine clothing, like velvet and silk, and and a lot of them are very showy and flashy. Have a make a perception check.
Sure. 20.
Okay, nice. So he would spot over in the far side of one room. There's this like sort of wooden sort of like slat, these wooden like slats which like run up the wall, and one at the bottom looks like it's kind of received a bit of like contact. It's a lot more like worn than all the others.
Okay.
And if you were to go over to it and like try and pack it or anything, nothing would really happen. But he would. It's noticeably hollow.
Noticeably hollow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, and then the other room, I'm trying to find the person, see what this person is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other room that's upstairs?
So this last room on the end, going in there, this looks like a bit of an office.
Right.
And there's like this very nice sort of mahogany desk in the far side of one room. And he's got scrawled over it are various maps. So it looks like documenting travels and ledgers of money owed and received, and just all the things that a renowned bard would need, basically.
Sure. Any like sort of shiny things on the desk for callbacks?
Yeah. So there's the only thing that's particularly eye-catching is quite a fine, this blue sort of like naturally blue feather quill, which has a sort of silver. Like pen base with the blue feather coming at the end,
Sure.
which is just resting next to a pot of fine ink.
Sure. Callbacks cannot resist that.
Sure, yeah.
So he's going to take that and fly back to me.
There was one more room.
Oh, there was one more room downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Downstairs, yeah.
Is there any noise or anything coming from it?
Make a perception check.
I might be downstairs now as well, just in order to go back to the hearth. Any 8.
Okay. So there's a room with the curtains are drawn, and you see that Corvax kind of like goes down and tries to listen out, but he can't quite hear anything through the other side of this room.
Okay, he's got the curtains drawn. Okay, cool.
You can try. Other than the bedroom, it's the only one with the curtains drawn.
Fine. Okay. The bedroom that I have been in, or the bedroom I haven't been in?
This isn't a bed. This is all downstairs.
Yeah. But have I been in the bedroom upstairs?
Yeah. So you've been in the two like guest bedrooms.
Yeah.
There's an office, and there's also the master
bedroom,
Yeah.
which had its curtains drawn that I haven't been in.
No, you went into the
The
master,
master bedroom, and that was where the hollow thing was.
Where the hollow
Fine.
thing was,
Okay.
yeah,
Cool. Nice to work.
I can throw together a little sketch if you want. It'll take a
Cool.
second.
I don't know. Would people find that helpful or?
It's basically 4 rooms upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, Corvax can't really hear anything. He's a magpie, so he probably, you know what? Because I'm controlling him. Corvax is gonna. I don't know if this is giving him.
You just did.
Well, fine. Yeah, you know what? I'm doing it. Corvax is gonna just go and into the music room and start sort of just peck at a piano key.
Sure. Yeah.
Just
Bong.
bong,
Sure.
and see what happens.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so you start doing that, and then after about 40 seconds or so, you hear these little slappy footsteps.
Okay. Exactly that.
And does Corvax respond in any way? Or is he?
He's acting like a bird, so no, he kind of.
He's got the quill, right?
Yeah, he's got the quill. Oh, fine. He's gonna hide the quill somewhere.
In the piano.
In the grand piano, yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So he's blocking away. He's got flappy footsteps come in, and just from around through the like entrance of this open doorway, this little deep gnome comes like stepping out, and you see he kind of like looks around and like scratches his head, like looking around the room before like his eyes fixed on the piano, and he sees this magpie flapping away, and he just comes forward and he goes, "Ah, shoot!" Like this, and begins like slapping at Corvax. You see he's wearing these kind of like blue shirt and these kind of like these dull green trousers, which are quite fine, but you know, aren't anything like the clothes that were upstairs.
Sure.
And he says, oh goodness, Wheaton's gonna be annoyed, and starts like flapping at the bird, trying to get him out basically. You see he goes over like opens some windows.
Okay, so Corvax is going to kind of just fly around for a good 5 minutes, just making himself a real nuisance, maybe knocking over some stuff.
Yeah.
Just acting like a wild animal.
Sure. I'd say that you guys are probably like any of you on that side of the building might hear like some clattering and things. And so yeah, I mean, you can do with that what you will. But yeah,
I'll probably peer in a window.
yeah.
Actually,
I say you hear some. Give me. So yeah, I mean, give me a stealth, I guess.
I'm just going to give it the loop, but then after about 5 minutes, Corvax is going to come back to me.
Sure.
Having
Out
scouted.
the window.
Yeah, having scouted.
Okay.
Corvax is making himself a nuisance, a real nuisance.
How did you change it? You can change your dice.
So 10 would just about do it. So I'll say that like as you go to peer through the window, that's just when this deep gnome like throws open the window, and so make a either make another stealth or a dexterity save. It's up to you.
I'll do dex save, so I can just jump out of the way. 15.
Okay, nice. So you like go to peer around, and just as you do, you see this like, to you it's unmistakably a deep gnome, but he's like kind of flustered with the bird. He like flings open the windows, and you're able to like slink around and like pressed up against the wall. You're able to maybe like you kind of instinctively like you kind of got like an illusionary shimmer that just kind of like instinctively kind of like washes over you slightly as you're like your brain's whirring with like potential spells. And he like he like opens the door. Opens the window, you're able to dodge to the side, and he's like shooing the ballbacks out, and after a minute or two he does, and you see he kind of goes, like closes the window again and goes back about his business. You hear him like grumbling, like, how, for God's sake, all this stuff he's going back through. Is there anything anyone would like to do while
I think I'd have reacted to the sound of the window opening and seeing just if I could. Wait, which side of the house am I on?
No, he's closed it again.
And now that which side of the house am I looking into?
So we'll say if the house is like this, we'll say that Dorwin's here by the window, which is by this music room, which is right at the bottom. Like that. We'll say that Enoch's up on the roof here, controlling callbacks. So it makes, and then Will's in an alley like over here, kind of like you probably would have seen Dorwin almost get caught from where you were.
Yeah.
That, I guess that would logically mean that you're like kind of around
So
the
literally
back,
the other
like,
side of the house.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have done.
I would say if I noticed that the demon has left the room with this window, I would try and see if I can like wiggle the window, see if it's
Okay,
open
yeah,
outside or if it's like
Give me a sleight of hand. That one. Okay, so you go to the window, and then like as you do, you're like trying to open it, and you see that he has kind of left it slightly off, and you're like wiggling it, and then as you do it, kind of like suddenly makes this like clicking noise, and then like through the window you hear these little passing feet going back. I'll give you a quick decision. You've got like 5 seconds.
that's invisibility.
All right, fine, nice. Nice. So, well, you see him doing this, and you're like, and as you do door, when you go completely invisible, and you see that this person, the thing comes back and like throws open the window and like looks around, and like after not seeing anything at all, you just see goes bloody bird, and like closes the thing and goes back. Nice one. So you're now invisible basically fully.
Yeah.
How long was that last?
An hour.
It's a concentration.
Yeah.
Cool. I go up to the window. So I'm on the side with the big living room, right?
You're on the side with the we've got yes, you're on the side with the big living room.
Okay,
yeah.
so I sort of creep up to that and just slip my dagger into the bottom of the window to see if I can lever up or just see what
Okay.
the window lock, if there's a lock on the window or something.
All right, nice.
Just as like a test, not to actually open it.
Oh, okay, so yeah, you find after a little fiddle, like it's not that the window's like locked, but it's like got one of those closey latches.
Yeah.
So there's not an easy way for you to do that without like attempting. If you wanted to open it, you could attempt a sleight of hand or something if you wanted.
Yeah. Okay. No, I can just try that just to see.
Is this
20?
20? Nice. Yeah, so I'd say that like you're able to like winch the window open ever so slightly and get your dagger up and just kind of like softly poke the latch open.
Yeah.
And I'll say that like if you guys were planning on meeting back up with Heinrich, would you maybe just want to like let know that one's open sort of thing,
Yeah,
and
perfect.
just, like
Leave
keep
it
that
as
ready.
and- yeah.
But yeah, that one's now you're going to get invisible.
Can Mage Hand pass through walls?
I don't think you can necessarily go through walls, but it has a casting range, I think. So you probably could cast it on the other side of a wall.
It appears at a point I choose within range.
Yeah, which I think is
I
30
could
feet.
just cast it on the other side of a glass.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Nice. So shall we meet back up with Heinrich?
Yeah.
Alright, so you guys head back down like into the street and head down one of these Greek meeting point down kind of way. And as you approach, he says, "Hi, Dimble, that was a risky one, my friend." Oh, he wouldn't even know you're there. Actually, really, you're still invisible. You can maintain it and like just talk or something if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be invisible, but I'd be there.
Sure.
But I wouldn't say anything, so you wouldn't know I was there.
Okay.
Sure. It's a okay. As you guys gather around, he says, "Right. I've been watching the window there. Your little friend caused a bit of a ruckus, but he managed to slink out. I didn't realise he was a mage."
Yes, sorry about that.
And she goes, "Oh, so well. It makes sense." He like looks in your like just off centre from you. He goes, "Well, it makes sense that you'd be here, I suppose." He says, "It's quite a clever little trick you've got there."
I told you, Hendrik, you're getting the best.
He says, "Right.
I look at Tide like appreciatively. This new sort of assertiveness that Tide has is what I remember the old Tide. The new this confidence. Is much more in line with Enoch. Enoch's view of himself and Tide.
Yeah, mate, on the game.
He says, right.
Live for it.
Well, it looks like that there is a little fellow living in the house. You managed to get your little friend in. Were you able to gain anything from that? I saw him flying around in the room there."
There's a little deep gnome. He's nothing but a housekeeper. Seems terrified of old Sweet Tongue. The bastard.
That's right, the man that I've decided I fully hate.
Yeah.
He's
now.
a dick. He's a dick.
Soft stuff.
He's like Jimmy Savile.
Who cares?
Might be a bit wrong.
Probably.
I was going to say I heard he makes up his stories.
Yeah.
Okay, like, yes, I think the deep gnome has done nothing to us. We need to. We're not to hurt him during our mission. I sort of cast a glance at Enoch just to make sure.
Yeah. Has anyone got a better pen? Yeah.
It might be beneficial if we can get him out of the house.
And I see. I think it would be most desirable if we were able to pull this off without alerting his suspicions as much as possible. But if we could have a backup plan to get him out of the house if needs be. The only thing is, if he's out of the house, there's a higher chance that he could get the attention of a guard.
Well, if we can get me in, I can certainly carry some things out of there without them noticing.
It's very creepy hearing a voice without seeing anyone saying it.
Can I like turn off a bit of my invisibility?
Yeah, we'll save for this roleplay that we can.
I mean,
Like Harry Potter.
head turned invisible, yeah.
Bloody hell!
Dorwin, tell me, you're the only deep gnome I've had the pleasure of knowing, and this one.
Not the pleasure.
Do you? What are the sleeping patterns of your kind? Do you sleep with the night or?
Well, in the Underdark, there isn't really the concept of night. Ordinarily, a deep gnome would just sleep when he's tired and get up when he wants to. We don't really have a cycle as we do up in here that's governed by the sun. But clearly this deep gnome's been up here for a while, so he may well have fallen into his master's rhythms. So, although deep gnomes do prefer the dark, so he may try and get his chores done during the night, but I wouldn't be able to say for sure.
Okay, so that's a bit of a dead end. plan-wise.
Do we have a way of impressing upon this gentleman the need to go to the market for some wares? Maybe he feels he's run out of food. Maybe.
When you saw there was quite loads of food in the picture.
Yeah, I'm talking about like a spell, like suggestion,
I
like,
see.
you know, charm burst or something like that. You know, just do we have a way of impressing upon him the need for him to leave his house?
Well, I can disguise myself as someone that might be able to give him a valid reason to leave.
Why not? Soft tongue.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Disguise
really good
yourself
idea.
as soft tongue. Like he's come home.
No, we don't know what he
Oh,
looks
we don't know
like.
what he looks like.
Oh, I might. Would I know what he looks like?
Probably, I mean,
Not really.
probably not well
guys.
enough to
No.
convey all the information Dawn would need to.
Yeah, that's fine. A guard? A guard?
Yeah,
of
like a
the-
town guard.
A town guard that comes and tells everyone to evacuate the house. It's too elaborate.
He says, "What are you talking about? How would you get a guard on board?"
We have ways of disguising ourselves. I think it's best if we keep our precise skill set a secret. We have some unique skills that may prove beneficial, but are also quite distinctive.
Says, "I
I'm
see.
sure you understand.
A little bit of magic trickery. I'll say Scottish accent. Trickery. He says, right, so if we get in there, if there's he says, I'm a master pick. I can do anything with my thieves' tools, but and I'm quite good at keeping myself silent, but I'm not much use for anything else. If you have a way to get him out of the house, then so be it. But if not, perhaps we could go in and try and navigate around him.
I say to I'm gonna speak telepathically to Dorwin and say, I don't know about you, Dor, but it's seeming like our associate has less and less to offer us now that we know what's inside the place. All he did was provide us with some information. How would you feel about cutting our losses with him and having the loot all to ourselves?
Well, I was saying a message in my head.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't want to anger too many people. Do we know who he works for?
He works for the Thieves Guild. He's a cell pick. He picks locks for the highest bidder. He's a no one, just well connected.
Well,
If
maybe
he gets caught, they won't think anything of it, and he'll be rotting in the dungeons.
Well, maybe let's see what use we can get out of him. And if it comes to that, I guess so be it.
Okay, so be it, Dorwin.
Question. The chest that Korvac saw upstairs, was it locked?
Yes, it looked like it had a big lock on it.
Okay, cool.
I'm sick of picking up.
Okay, cool. It sounds,
You would know that, so
I know.
it's not breaking character for me to tell. Literally, we've got that.
it sounds to me like there are two rooms we'd like to sort of focus our attention on. The upstairs bedroom and the downstairs music room. If we could enter the house...
Are you saying this out loud or in silence?
Chatting. No, yeah, to everyone. If there's a way of...
Only
No, he's saying.
No, sorry, I'm just chatting.
Oh, you're
Sorry,
sorry.
saying. I've managed to open a window on the lower ground floor that could be our...
Where's the accent?
I've managed to...
Do it.
I've managed to open a window on the ground floor. If we manage to use that as our entrance and egress, we may be able to avoid the deep gnome altogether.
There's also a pretty handy access point via the chimney. That's how little Korvax got in.
How big is it?
It's enough for us.
I could
You guys?
not for you.
That's
Too much cake tied.
so tall, right?
This is right. Well,
Perhaps we attack from two angles, and me and this Heinrich can take the lower floor, and you guys could. Wait, where did the chimney go to?
we went into the music room.
Straight into the music room. Oh, okay. Then you guys can take the music room.
So that sounds like a good plan to me. Let's get in there and if we alert the deep gnome, we can worry about that when it comes to it.
Yeah, it's only a deep gnome, right? I said what it said.
Says alright, let's do it then. So you two go around the back and you're able to open this window.
Yeah.
Why don't you and him make a stealth check? You can cover for you a little bit if you fuck up.
19.
Like a +9 or something. So what'd you get?
19.
19. Okay, yeah. So you're both fairly stealthed, I mean, you two can probably get up to the chimney all right. You might have a hard time getting up to the roof.
Yeah,
probably.
You could try and make an athletics to try and climb up like whatever stony bits you can on the other building and jump across or something. Yeah, cool. So give me your athletics.
20.
Nice. Okay.
Got +8.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet, nice. So yeah, there's like a couple of sills, and you see that as you kind of like walk up and Dorwin, maybe you spider climb or something, or another ability that you've got.
Yeah. How high is it?
Oh, it's probably about 35 feet tall.
Yeah, I'll spider climb my way up.
So yeah, you guys are able to get up onto the roofs of these buildings. You are like, there's like a sill which is just out of reach. You're able to like jump up and grab onto that and kind of like Assassin's Creed, kind of like heave yourself up onto the next one and like kind of like scrabble your way up, like just muscling your way up basically. And you kind of effortlessly jump over onto the other building with a nice solid athletics. So you guys are able to get down the chimney, but it's like a bit of a squeeze, and like why don't each of you give me your stealths? Only two of you need to succeed. See if you can not be too clattery on the way down. 14. 14. Okay, nice.
5.
Nice.
19.
Okay, nice. Okay, cool. So you see like Dorwin for a moment like kind of slips down, but you're able to you're pressed against the chimney like this. It's like kind of shoulder to shoulder, even for a little deeper. You're able to like kind of put your hand up and like stop him from slipping down further, covering his noise.
Sorry guys, new spell.
And yeah, you kind of like make your way down.
Does that mean you're no longer invisible now you've cast spider climb?
Is spider climb concentration?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Good call.
Instead of spider climb.
Finally, we make one.
Yeah.
Can I say I misty stepped up the thing instead of spider climb?
Yeah, that's fine.
Isn't
You won't just
isn't
step
Misty
Yeah.
is the Misty step 30 feet?
Yeah, but I can jump 5 feet.
Nice. So yeah, you're able to kind of like get down and like scrabble you out through the chimney. I'd say would probably be a challenge to get through the chimney without disturbing the ash a bit. It's kind of like it's kind of too hard to do it discreetly, I would say.
Sure.
Because it's like fresh, wafty ash. It's like
Yeah.
So you probably
Push it back into the.
make it.
As we get down to the bottom of the chimney, I just press the digitation and click on the ash.
Nice. Okay, cool. You guys get in. So everyone who's in, all the basically,
all of us.
yeah. So all of you give me perception checks.
Nat 20.
Nice. All right.
21.
12.
Cool. So as you guys are, so yeah, you go into this lounge room, and you don't pick up on a lot. Every else just kind of like whispers and gestures you along to like go up into like go out of the bedroom. Oh, sorry, Heinrich. As you guys are in the music room, you're looking around, and you notice that under the grand piano, there's like these stone tiles, that make up the whole room. One of the stone tiles is like slightly like cleaner and slightly ajar underneath the grand piano.
Cool.
and you can go over. Do you want to go over and check it out?
Yeah. Do I need to like push the piano away?
I'd say that you'd be able to like get under the piano pretty comfortably.
Cool. Yeah. I'll go and help.
Okay, so give me another stealth to see if you can do it quietly.
18.
Nice. Okay.
20. Sorry.
So yeah, so just because you're really strong, basically, you're able to just kind of like lift up this massive tile and kind of like move it over and just kind of pop it down, and you see that under this tile there's a stone box. It looks like a really heavy stone box, and it's basically got the same kind of like very discreet markings on it of the box that Rugael had, which had his vestments and the stone in.
Cool.
So it's one of these like magic boxes basically. It's extremely heavy.
Too heavy for me to carry.
Probably not too heavy for you to
Okay.
carry. So yeah, I'd say that with rolling with your 18 stealth, I'd say that you're able to kind of like lift it out. You're 20 stealth, sorry. You're able to like lift it out and kind of like pop it to one side for a moment. And you're just kind of like, I mean, yeah. Do you want to do anything with it?
Is there anything underneath?
So it's just like a carved stone like box basically, like in the ground, like indent sort of thing, which had this thing in it.
Just while you're doing this, can I go over and check the door to this room?
As in like the archway.
Is it an open archway?
Yeah, so they've got like curtains, but
They've
these
got
are open
curtains.
in this one.
Okay, fine. I'd like to cast minor illusion of the curtains being closed.
Okay.
And then also because I also make sure everyone in the room knows that it's an illusion, and therefore the illusion becomes transparent to them, so they can see through.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
it's nice. Okay.
Cool.
So what? And then you and
And then I'm just like keeping an eye out on the windows.
Okay,
Yeah, so we've gone up into the bedroom,
yeah.
and can I sort of suggest, well, sort of nudge Heinrich towards the chest with the lock and get him.
Okay.
I'm working
Yeah.
on
Sure.
that.
Sure.
And I'm going to go and check out the slats.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So you see that Heinrich kind of like gives you a little nod and begins to work on this lock. You're right, James.
I'm just so tired. I've been yawning.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, I might have to call it
Pretty soon.
kind of in the next 5 minutes. I'm not
Okay.
Oh, we'll see.
flagging.
Sure. All right. Yeah.
Carry on
we'll
without
sort
me
of
because I'm not really adding a lot.
I mean, I need to
With
get
my
the
train.
10:30 train, so I'll need to be gone in the next half hour anyway.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds good. Yes. So he begins working on this lock. You go over to this slat and kind of like give it a nudge and like crack it open, and you're able to like pull it. Oh, give me a stealth actually, just to see if you can do it quietly.
Yeah,
22?
Yeah, I have
Nice. Okay. Very
Very
nice.
nice.
Rolling.
Yeah.
The day I've had is like.
Yeah, you're able to like, kind of silently move this thing open, and you like pull out this kind of like wooden crate basically, and in it there's these 3 like sort of slightly glowing golden potions, which you're able to pilch if you want.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to downstairs? Are you going up to the room, or are you gonna?
Well, I was gonna get Dawn to look at the magic box.
Okay, sure.
Were
Yeah.
we not? I thought we were upstairs in the music room.
No, the music is downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the chimney goes down into
Oh.
Can I
It's like.
pick a magic lock?
No, you can't. No, not with the thieves' tools. So normally with magic stuff like magic traps and magic locks and things, you can try an arcane check, but they're normally pretty high. So you can give it a go. But it might be worth just taking it, to be honest, if you'd rather.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Let's just do that.
We can try now if you want.
Let's see. Will it make it harder to like crack? Oh, maybe.
Not sure.
Okay. Let's just say it later.
Okay.
With my perception, did I see anything else in the room?
I mean,
that's funny.
yeah. So I mean, there's nothing like
Is this a room
hidden.
with loads of books and stuff?
Yeah, there's books and
Is
there's.
there anything worth grabbing for Dawn?
So all of the books look like they're like books of poems and ballads and stories and that sort of thing. I'd say with a high perception, maybe you're able to like identify like 2 books in particular which just look like valuable and like a bit more rare, like maybe they've got a gold inlay or something.
Cool.
So you're able to swipe a couple of books.
I'll pinch those.
But yeah, otherwise, looking around the room, there's quite a few loots, but they're all like varying quality. There's like lyres on the wall too, and there's this massive harp, which is like very fine quality, but it's very large and like bulky. But it looks pretty fire.
Can I take that?
You can give. I mean, it's like you have to like lift it. This is pretty massive. I'd say.
Rest it on top of the magic box and lift the magic box.
What's your strength?
Well, +5 but 20.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like, remember I carried the fucking.
Yeah, you had a belay, yeah.
Belay, like.
Yeah, you probably could, to be fair.
Sweet.
Not very discreet, but you can give it a go.
Ah, fuck. If we have to kill the deep gnome, we have to kill the deep gnome.
Thank God someone said
I've
it.
got no love for deep gnomes, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
fair enough.
Fuck.
Okay, yes. So for the potions, after a moment or two, Heinrich is able to unlock this box, and inside it, there's like various coin pouches, and which seem like fairly weighty. I guess I'll say he like takes them basically.
Yeah.
And there's also some finer clothes as well, which he like takes out and begins like stuffing into his rucksack.
Yeah.
The only other thing like of noticeable value in this room are the clothes that he has in his cupboard as well, which you can pinch if you want.
Enoch.
If I'll rifle through them, is there anything that is of like particularly fine quality, like more so than the rest of it,
I mean,
that I would know?
yeah. So I wouldn't say like no. They're all like very very nice clothes.
Yeah.
So they'd all be fairly valuable, but there's no like one particular piece of clothing that's like especially like super amazing.
Okay. I don't think I would touch the clothes. One thing I would do is put the slats back exactly as I found it and request that Heinrich locks the if you can do that.
Oh yeah, sure.
Relocks the chest so the room, at least in first glance, looks as it was.
Okay, yeah. All right. Shall we try the escape then?
Yeah, can someone grab me a loot real quick?
Yeah, I was saying.
Oh, you got me a loot.
I got a dope one. I don't know if we got the one though.
Well, when I say it, there was the one. Now I don't. Is there a famous
just
thing that
making
he
that up.
has? Or is it-
Oh no, there is. This dude does have a particular loot.
Oh, okay. Would
Yeah.
I know would I know the qualities it possesses?
All you've heard about it is that it's got like sapphire engravings. That's like what his loot's famous for.
Okay. Can I still contact this dude at this point? I'm gonna relay that information to him. The loot you're looking for is sapphire engravings.
Okay, sure.
So yeah. Looking around the room, there's the loots on the wall and everything. You can't see any of them, but you know, you've got this like magic box which is in the music room.
Yeah, I just
maybe-
grab any loot. We want to loot.
Anything inside it.
It's a risk.
Yeah.
So might not.
I mean, we've.
I'm
somewhat
probably
explored
gonna leave Korvax behind to see if there's any areas that the gnome checked out. Like, you know, oh my god,
Oh,
did they
nice.
get the box or something? I'm gonna leave Korvax in the room just silent.
Okay, nice.
Cool.
Can I put the stone back?
Oh, back on the thing. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see you do that. I'd say maybe you did that as part of the research.
Cool.
Okay. So we're gonna boo-boo?
Yeah.
Alright. So let's redo some stealth checks, guys. So we've got the 3 people downstairs, which is you guys. You're not carrying this thing, so I'm gonna say that carrying it, maybe make yours with disadvantage, carrying the harp and the box.
My stealth.
And Dorwin, give us the stealth, and Enoch, obviously. Six.
30.
30. So extra.
That's funny. Nice. Okay, yeah, you guys are able to cover for
Just like,
two
I
sides.
keep like dropping. Oh fuck! Like stumbling into
Like
shit.
invisible
Just
will
making
at 4
twangy
seconds, like,
noises.
whoop.
Yeah. That'll be like, yeah, correcting any
Yeah.
slips.
Just like
What was your stealth?
I haven't done my last.
Okay, go on.
So we make it
12.
out.
What?
Did you roll that 20?
You're not one. So you find that as you stand up, he just kind of like slips and like there's this loud bang, and he's just like, you just hear him go like, fuck! as he falls. And you're like looking around like nervously. And then you hear like, hey, who's there? And these tiny feet, and then he like comes around, sees the curtains that are closed. And you see he like pays them a glance through in it because they were open before, and he's like this and like scurries off upstairs. But you see him coming running round.
Yeah.
So maybe I'd imagine you probably do a message or something.
Where are we? Sorry.
So you're in this downstairs music room down here.
Yeah.
They're in the upstairs bedroom up there, and there's stairs which go up here.
And where did we like make this noise?
In the bedroom.
Upstairs. So we're downstairs, he's run past us.
Okay.
Yeah. So you hear these little slappy no feet. Do you guys want to do anything?
Yeah, I'll cast minor illusion to make the sound of like a box falling on a piano.
In your room?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a terrible idea.
So you just hear like this boom bong, and you see he like stops as he's like going up the stairs, and he comes like running over to the room.
And who's in the room with me?
Us three. Those two. Yeah.
Us three.
Okay.
Enoch, do you want to take this opportunity to hide somewhere, maybe?
I'm downstairs in the music room.
Yeah, but he's
now
just
coming
drawn him
down.
into the music room.
I thought he
What?
was going to be. I thought he was like about to go in upstairs. I didn't realise he was right outside our room still.
It's not far away, but you've got time to try and see if you can do a little hide. Or
I'm gonna hide. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna hide. So I'm gonna hide. How big's the grand piano? Like
You can fit a goblin
it
in.
can fit a goblin in. I'm gonna hide in the grand piano.
Yeah, nice. He's
Don't
jumping
make a
in.
lot of sound.
Well, I mean that's what we're going for at the moment anyway, and it's trying to draw him in. So, all right. So give me your
Draw his
stealth.
attention to it. If it's
Yeah, but
But
surprise
the
attack,
sound
isn't
has already hit the...
What's like in the room? Is there like sofas
So
or-
there's a bookshelf. There's like sofas surrounding this the fireplace. There's the piano and well, I guess the harp and the box are now like together. It's just probably not even
a
hiding.
harp or a zaloon, right?
Well, so you've got this box, but then you've got a big.
Oh, you know what? Fine.
Oh, I
I'm
thought
gonna-
it was a lute.
No, it's a
Oh,
giant fucking harp. That's what I'm saying. It's funny. That's why you got disadvantage.
Right.
Fine, okay, I'm gonna use my fine. I'm not gonna hide in the grand piano. Then I'm gonna use my spider climb boots to hide on the ceiling above the archway.
But that's what we think is in the music.
Okay. As he does
Okay,
this,
well, let's deal with this and then on. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
You're
fine.
hiding on the ceiling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like just above the doorway for him to come in.
You've still got
and
your
I
spider
can
climb
just
action as
fucking.
well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I remember I changed it to Misty Step.
No, Misty Step's not concentration.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
But
Sure.
no, it's
But
fine.
you're still invisible, I guess. Then.
Yeah, but I think what I'm gonna do. I don't want to see him. You got good stealth.
5 seconds.
Yeah, alright,
Really?
I'll just cast invisibility on me and Will. Me and Elixir.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, the box and the heart go invisible as Elixir stood there. You're invisible in the room. You're on the ceiling.
And I also, like, as I cast it, I like grab Will and pull him over to like the window and just like push us up against the wall.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, he comes scurrying and he's just like, who's there? And he's like looking around. I have to make a perception to see if he thinks to look up. She probably won't. Yeah, he rolled really low. So yeah, he's like looking around, and he goes, and you see he's like kind of like nervous, like he's slightly shaky. He's like, who's there? And he like looks around and sees the missing heart, and he's just like, we've been robbed. And he like
Okay, so I'm gonna take this opportunity he's gonna sound the alarm. So he's seen the missing.
I cast an invisibility on both of us.
Oh, cool.
So he's going to sound the alarm. He knows we've been robbed. We've got to go loud. So I'm going to drop down immediately behind him and literally just try and just slash him across the back of the head.
Nice.
With my dagger.
So give me an attack roll to see if you land a hit with advantage.
27
Yeah, that hits.
and 21. I was 19.
With an attack like this on a deep note, you probably don't need to do damage necessarily, so you can get the hit.
Oh, I can get the hit.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm getting more damage just to
Sure,
try
yeah,
to chunk.
25.
Yeah, 25. plus 32 points of damage.
Nice. So yeah, you just drop down.
But I'm going to incapacitate him. I'm just going to.
Oh, you're like knocking him out.
Yeah, I'm just going to bonk him on the head.
You drop down, bonk, clunk him in the head. He falls down unconscious. He's lying there, and you see like Rugal like kind of pokes his head out the door. Can he see through the illusion? Oh, sorry, Heinrich.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. And Tide, you two, like you both like kind of come down and like see this Ego lying on the floor.
Yeah.
You see like Enoch just kind of stood there, like hands on hips, like kicking him a bit as soon as he's out.
Oh, I didn't want to have to do that. Which one of you made that noise?
We all just look at Heinrich.
He's like, I said it's mostly picking is my main skill.
You specifically mentioned how quiet you could be.
Look, I can be, alright? Everyone makes mistakes. Anyway, we need to go.
His blood is on your hands.
He sees it.
And your compensation will be adjusted accordingly.
He says, right, well, we'll talk about that once we're out. He says, come on, let's go.
Before we go, I grab a loot off the wall.
Sure, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why don't we steal more stuff now?
Yeah.
We've got loads
Yeah,
of time.
fuck
He's
it, you're
knocked
right.
out. Like, let's fucking steal everything.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, Alexis's got a point.
Sure.
I mean, that's what Enoch was. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, are there
I'm
rooms
going
we
up to the
haven't-
master bedroom.
Did you say there was something that was like hollow?
Yeah, I'm going up.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, we've
Tide
done
got.
that.
Oh,
We've
that
got
you've
the
done that, you've done
potions,
that.
Yeah.
Also, as these guys scatter and start to raid the rooms, I just put my immovable rod on this dude and sort of like, kind of sadly just like
Oh no.
put it on him.
Smart.
Sorry, dude.
That's such a good use.
Nice. Yeah, you guys are able to go and like maybe you get like 5 pieces of fine clothing. You each grab like a couple of loots and some little lyres and things. Maybe take some of the finer books and everything, and make your way out.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Sure.
Yeah. Or maybe grab some food from the kitchen as well.
Yeah. Apple.
What about second breakfast?
I'll have a read through any of these like fancy books, see if there's anything useful.
Yeah, it's all to you. It's all just like poems and ballads. You know, they're all like fantasy stories, really.
Sure.
You might pick up more of
If
them.
there's any like hymns or anything like that, I might pick up.
Yeah, nice. And you guys, so you guys head out and begin like kind of. Why don't you each make stealth checks just on your way around? You guys all roll well this time.
7.
6. Fucking hell! What's wrong with me?
23.
23. What do you get, Ferg?
7. 6.
Oh, you two are both invisible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But because they make noise.
Yeah.
Who
23.
is it stealth for then?
Like just to make sure you don't alert anyone on your way out, basically. Nice. So yeah, you guys are able to kind of skulk away, get to some like secretive place, and we'll wait for the tide to get back, and we'll do the interaction with Heinrich. Cool.
Seems good.
North. Chappie can't do the heist. Have you seen Chappie? You haven't?
No.
Ah. Do you mind a like a minor spoiler, say like a third of the way through or something?
12 years old.
Yeah. So they basically take